I wonder if they're like protected if you can't eat them or they're just not.
Is the Crawdad police gonna come?
That'd suck if that was your only job. Like, what are you?
I know. Hey, I know where there's a fresh batch of Crawdads.
Yeah.
I'm about to go pop those guys.
yeah. Think about like the Crawdad. Like,
I wonder what he looks like. He shades on.
Definitely has shades.
But like his shirt's all wrinkly because
probably a
like
costume.
He's.
Chef Dyke Michael's making food, and he's making comedy too. Thaddeus J. McKee is co-hosting with the guy I mentioned previously. Sauce Boss Zach's on the 1 to 2, so good he calls them 2s and 3s. And as always, there's a guest who'll be sure to please on Harder Brunch.
Hi, and welcome to the Harder Brunch Podcast. I'm your host, Dyke Michaels, and with me, as always, my co-host, Thaddeus J. McKee.
Slappy Pappy, wah, wah.
On the 1s, the 2s, the wheels of steel, the sauce boss of Indianapolis, and the last woke dragon. Give it up for Zach Roan.
Hey there.
And two very special guests with us from Upland Brewing Company, Chad Seacrest, Andrew Priller, the chef of chefs at Upland, and the regional indie manager.
Yeah.
Is there an assistant to the regional manager?
Not yet.
Okay.
I feel like I am sometimes. My own assistant.
Oh.
Well, welcome, guys. And it's funny because we've talked about this off mic, but you guys have talked about there's kind of a stigma. People think that Upland is like a big, huge corporation. You would assume that the head chef and the regional manager would be in like business suits and dark sunglasses and men in black hats. And you guys seem like two normal dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so that we are normal as we can be.
That's good.
But no, definitely I don't think I'd ever fit in a suit anyway.
Yeah. I think I'm normal. You could be a little.
Yeah, a little off. But yeah, no, it's just we're like all Indiana. So like
I love that because I was expecting a monocle when he said who was coming over. I was like, "There's gonna be a lot of monocles in this house," and he's like, "I don't know." And then I saw a Led Zeppelin shirt coming. Yeah, or did I say? Hey, we can cut that, right? I know who the Dead and Company are. Yeah, I deserve a boo. I look like I should know that, anyways.
Zeppelin's good too, though.
But yeah,
you saw the tie-dye.
I saw the tie-dye, and I was like, "Oh, my friend Patrick Murray's here.
We're gonna have fun today."
and then I looked up like, "Oh, this is an Upland guy," and then it was a blast ever since.
Yeah.
You guys brought over some amazing beers for us, and I wanted to try to. I knew you guys were going to bring beer, so I was like, okay, what goes good with beer? And we've been talking for a while about building this outdoor pizza oven, and I was like, beer and pizza, classic friends. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of pulled the trigger. I was also waiting for it not to be super like summer hot outside,
I'll tell you this, I feel honored.
Yeah.
That we got to do the first run on it.
It was the very first one. I mean,
that's awesome.
I pieced it together last night by myself,
Delicious.
and I'm not, believe it or not, like a handyman. I'm more of a like break it guy than a fix it guy. So that was the first thing that I ever built by myself, and I was just like, I don't know if this thing's gonna collapse mid pizza cooking or if it's gonna work. And Zach came over this morning and got the hearth going, got the nice fire going, and by God, it got up to temp and did what it did. It's weird when you think about it, though, like an oven with like an open side, right? Like just the idea of it. But then I guess we were talking about food cooking. It's like, well, if you cook over a fire, you're losing heat in all directions,
Yeah.
But obviously, like a traditional oven is going to be like the perfect. They figured out the engineering behind it, but it is really like there is something kind of rock and roll about like a wood-fired pizza oven. I don't know.
I mean, the dough popped up pretty good on the
Flavor's
pizza.
great.
The flavor's great.
That was smoky. Can you give this to Zach for a second? Because I have to give a shout out to Zach.
That's fire, man.
That dough.
Yeah. Man.
Cheers, man.
I didn't want to be the first one to build the oven and also make the dough. Like, there's too much can go wrong there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was super happy with it. But like honestly, it gets so hot in there. Like I think that same dough wouldn't have done well in the indoor oven. I think the bricks out there had a lot to do with how well it popped up and everything.
I mean, there were some spots on there that were charred too that gave it kind of like that. It wasn't like burnt. It was like that nice little crisp char. We
got
soft,
an extra.
You could get into it. It was like, this is awesome. I like this. It's like
We got an extra charge Stromboli in there.
Oh yeah,
it was the
last two got forgotten, and I was like,
at the very
are
end.
we still cooking something?
That's Stromboli. I'm from I lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana for a long time. My family's from there, and like Strombolis are like extremely popular there.
Yeah.
When I've been into it, kind of took me like to like being like a kid with my grandparents, and us taking to the local bar for.
Yeah, so
there's like different with Stromboli ways.
Well, no, but that's the thing, and I think that's a very important Indiana thing, because in Indiana we were taught that that's a Stromboli. Like that was, I think they even did it like in high school and stuff.
Yeah,
but definitely like when you'd go out to the bars or whatever, that was kind of the classic bar food, Stromboli, and it's I think anywhere else in America it's a pizza sandwich, like But we always call it a
grinder.
Yeah, and then like the first time I saw like a real Stromboli, I was like, well, that's not what I call a Stromboli. I was like, oh, but I know exactly what you meant. So we were talking about making one, and awesome. I was like, just to be clear, I'm making a pizza sandwich.
Yeah. Well, just like when you bit into that, like that sauce just like hits you in the back of the throat. Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, the sauce is fire.
Anytime something hits the back of your throat, it's all right.
It's fun, and also like I feel like every time I have like food people, like other chefs come over, I'm always like, I'm not going to make some big complicated dish. Like I'm just gonna my goal is just to make it fun, I'm just I was like, let's just do beer and pizza. Like let's have a fun go with it. And also I had to have a backup in case the pizza oven just collapsed or something. I was like, that'd be a real bummer if we just had a bunch of raw dough.
Which is kind of funny that you're doing the pizza, because we've been on this pizza kick, me and him, just talking about like we eat pizza. Like that's one of our go-tos. Like if we're just like, let's get out of here for a minute and go get something to eat. Yeah, pizza's always one of them. Yeah, which I don't think Indianapolis lacks in pizza sometimes. But there's a few good places coming out now. They're doing a good job out here.
Yeah.
And then it's one of our probably down the road next 5-10 years, like to have our own little pizza spots.
Pizza.
Oh yeah,
pizza and beer, baby.
I mean, it's just like when you get like a really good piece of pizza, like there's like nothing else that compares to that.
Yeah,
right? Where you're like, when you eat it, it's so simple. Like pizza, everyone does pizza, right?
Yeah.
You get pizza anywhere. When you get like that piece, you're like, your eyes light up. You're like, holy shit, this is.
It always takes you back to somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Listen, and I'll just say this. I'll be the first to say it. You guys could use our oven when you guys
we
want to start that pizza place up. You could use it.
Absolutely.
Like, we have 10 orders in 3 spots.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I work part-time at a wedding venue, and there was like a pizza oven food truck that catered it, and they were just making mini pizzas. And so like they had it right. They were just like, everything, all the pizzas were made up, and they were just kind of tossing them in they might have been par cooked. I don't know. I think they were like par cooked, and they were just kind of toss them in the oven, put some heat on them, and then bring them out. So they had like enough set up for like the initial like first half, and then it got caught up, and then it was just a bottleneck of 1-to-1 pizzas, and they're making pizzas like yay big, so it's like one pizza is like 2, maybe 3 people could eat one,
Yeah.
So there's just people standing there forever, and they're just waiting for your pie to get fired, like to order, which is one. It's great when you get
a wedding,
it.
Like what? Like at a certain point, everyone's shit faced, and they're like.
I mean, I remember like when food trucks first started popping up at weddings, and like they just didn't even know, they weren't caterers. They were just some guy that had a food truck, and all of a sudden they're cooking for 200 people. Like I remember the first time I went to one, it was a shit show where like they were just taking one order at a time. And it was like the bride's family was like 50 people back in line, and it was like there was no order to it. It wasn't like, it was just kind of like whatever. And then it took like 3 hours to feed everybody.
Yeah.
And they haven't figured out now, but it used to be the Wild West.
Yeah.
You had a food truck, right? So you get.
I did have a food truck.
And I understand that because when I lived in Chicago, I did some stuff for food trucks. But you've had a few guys that worked on our line. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I remember one guy quit on us
because
I'm going to show you. He wasn't very good on the line. And he was like, I'm going to open up a food truck. And I was like, all right, buddy. You have no idea what's going to go like what's going to happen in your life.
Dude, whenever someone says I'm going to open up a food truck, I like to appear like the Grim Reaper, just like, don't do it. Let me tell you why.
It's a lot of work.
There's a direct correlation, I think, to people that run their mouths in the kitchen and like, like if like any chef that says they don't do dishes, I'm like, get out of here. Exactly. Like
that's how we test people though.
I love washing dishes.
Yeah, I do too.
It definitely can be therapeutic, but
it's
I
very
think
spiritual. And,
Yeah,
I think any chef that's above, washing a dish or unclogging a toilet or doing whatever needs to get done is like that says a lot about you.
It's like if you're like in bigger positions and you have to answer emails all the time or whatnot. It's like when you get to go into the dish tank for 2 hours and put music on and not really just do anything but wash dishes. And it's like almost like a time where you're like, and it's helping other people out, which is like what we're here for is to help staff, but it's also like a therapeutic time where you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And sometimes staff thinks you're mad because you're washing dishes, so they're not even going to come approach you. They're like, oh, you're just washing dishes. He has to be mad. You're like, oh, yeah, just keep leaving me alone for a minute.
It can be very zen. Washing dishes can be very zen. I mean, I've washed dishes like when I'm angry sometimes. It can you just focus on one thing,
Yeah. Makes you happy.
Yeah.
And that's why I let you have your therapy here at the house. It's like, hey, I think Dyke needs this.
Yeah.
So that's me.
Sometimes you'll come in my room and you'll be like, it's time for therapy.
It's time for therapy. You need to.
Therapy is getting backed up.
There's no coffee mugs.
Well, you guys brought over these amazing beers, and I don't want you have to feel like you have to do a full commercial, but is there anything specific you'd want to talk about? This was a new one I hadn't seen before. This was my first time seeing this one. The two of tarts.
Two tarted.
Two tarts. So the kettle sour. So it's a controlled sour. So there's a lambic, which we do make, which are not controlled. It's the yeast doing its own thing and doing its job. These are controlled temperature wise. So when the brewer went to make this, they know exactly what flavors they're trying to get, what it's supposed to look like, consistency. The two tarts, that's the passion fruit, right?
Yeah, passion fruit and mango.
Mango, yeah. So it's like one of those beers that, is it Kate, right? Kayla just said, I'm not a beer drinker, so we busted out a sour, and she's like, oh, I actually like these. That's kind of designed for someone that's wants to drink an ale, but still needs a little bit of that fruitiness to it,
Yeah.
And it's pretty unique how they make it, and it gets that tart taste,
Yeah.
It goes good with a lot of different food and stuff like that.
I know this isn't as important for beer making, but I love the gimmick, the graphic on here. It's pocket deuces, and it says all bets on tropical.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Which
we
isn't
were
a
talking
good
about
bet.
gambling, so
Which if you have pocket deuces, that's not a good bet. Wait, you would go all in on pocket deuces?
I guess I would wait till the first couple
the flop
flips, yeah.
But it's really good. It's super good.
Sound like some real professional gamblers in here. I'll wait till the flip.
Yeah,
the flip flop.
Okay.
Hey, you don't know this life.
Man, yeah. Well, thank you guys for bringing all the beers in today. Like I said, beer and pizza was perfect.
Exactly.
What's your culinary background?
Well, so I've been
He's like, you caught me. I know halfway.
I've been doing it for a while, at least 25 years. So I'm 49 now.
Came out
My
told
dog
him,
hates
told
that.
him the age.
I did the whole
Wow.
culinary school with the
mystery.
CIA and
Nice.
graduated back in 2001.
Did you say CIA?
Not the
He's killed some people.
culinary's too.
No, I was
man.
like, I've never met anybody that cooked for the CIA. That would be.
I does look like a cop. Maybe.
I mean, you have your hat on backwards. I'd be like you're pretending not to be a cop.
But no, I've had a pretty good life in this field. So it's been very rewarding. I've worked in New York and South Carolina, Charleston, and Indianapolis, and in Vermont. So it kind of gives you that opportunity to kind of travel and cook anywhere. So
Yeah.
Was it a lot of high end?
yeah, mostly high end. I worked at and especially in Charleston, I worked at a restaurant called Fig for Mike Lotta, and great guy, great chef. I actually did my externship down at Magnolia's when I was in culinary school at Magnolia. Back in 2001. It was good time.
Nice.
And worked in Indianapolis for 8 years. Worked for our bistro for Regina.
Oh yeah.
And but it's neat to see Indianapolis kind of grow in that, because it's come a long way.
So
It used to be corporate city.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when did you move? When did you move back to Indianapolis?
Well, I live in Columbus, Indiana,
Okay.
but about 7 years ago.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
from South Carolina, I moved back up here.
So there was such a dramatic shift around like 2009, 2010, and just stuff started popping off. And I even noticed that, like, because I used to do the brunch at like Blackacre, and it was a weird thing where it was just like it was just one offering, and it was like take it or leave. We didn't even serve coffee. Like you were supposed to BYO coffee.
Yeah.
But like I would do stuff, and I was in culinary school at the time, so I was kind of like playing around and used it as like my test kitchen, and I realized that like certain things would pop, like I was one of the first people to do like chorizo biscuits and gravy in the city.
Oh, cool.
And that was like exotic 10 years ago, and now you see it on every single menu or whatever.
Yeah.
But then there would be like a turning point where I would just try something that was just like a little bit too, and then be like no, we're not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
But now I feel like all these menus you see like this really developed.
Yeah, I think like the farm to table thing, it's kind of been around for a really long time, and I think nowadays it's just more kind of custom. I think guests kind of expect that now. Like, we don't try to like say we're farm to table. We just buy from farmers. Mm-hmm. So that's what Upland's about. Like, our mission's about, we're an Indiana company, and we'd like to support our Indiana farmers.
There we go.
Not just farmers, butchers, anyone.
Yeah.
If you got a business that we can use for our business, it's like, it might cost us a little bit more, right? But it's going to come out later for us in a positive way to like support what's around us, and not just Indianapolis, right? That's like, Indiana's a big state, so there's places all over the state that like do great things with that, just not just produce, but butchering and dessert and
that's
different stuff for our beers.
Itself.
And
I love that.
because like we have like a sour that was just on it. It's done now. We sold out of it, but it's a pawpaw. Mm-hmm. So we get pawpaws are like Indiana banana, they call them. Yeah. So it's a sour lambic that we did. We did a run of it, and we're able to like support a pawpaw farmer. Yeah. Actually one of the brewers. How many pawpaw farmers?
Wait, time out. So wait, is it a banana farmer?
No.
I don't know.
They don't look like a banana, but they taste like, kind of like a
He'll
banana.
tell you the details.
But actually, I just got 7 pounds of puree from the brewer, and I was in Bloomington yesterday, so I want to do something fun with it. Excited.
Kill it.
Yeah.
You guys. Well, I was just telling Thad because we were talking about Upland, and I guess like for me, Upland's kind of always been around, like in my head.
Yeah, 1998.
Since. But like, especially like since I've gotten into craft beer, it's always been like, I remember kind of like associating with like Bloomington, thinking of like a Bloomington.
Yeah,
brewery.
I mean Bloomington's are
and now everywhere, But I was like telling him, I was like, you've seen Parks and Rec, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, every time they drank a beer, it was an Upland beer. He's like, are you serious? Like,
yeah, actually, it's kind of a cool story. I've been at the company for 6 years, and about that time I came on, they invited the whole crew from Bloomington to go out to California.
Oh wow!
And see the whole set, and they got photos and hung out with the whole cast. That was kind of cool.
You did?
I didn't get to go.
Oh, okay.
No,
he wasn't important enough yet.
Yeah, so that was cool.
Yeah, but they invited all the brewers and stuff.
That was neat.
That is awesome.
Oh man, I didn't even know that happened. I didn't know they were that nice.
Yeah.
I should check out that show even more now.
It's really nice.
Is that show even on anymore?
No.
You can peacock
Hulu,
it.
Right? Hulu?
You can peacock it.
Peacock it. That sounds dirty.
Well, what is that like?
Hey, I was just peacocking beer.
just peacocking around,
I mean, every show is kind of always on now, like shows never go away anymore.
I was watching that Dick Van Dyke show the other day. He's doing pretty good.
Is he still alive?
He's still alive, because that's a question I ask myself every year, and I'm like, Dick Van Dyke's dead, right?
I thought he had to be dead because he wasn't doing New Year's anymore.
No, what?
So I thought your
Dick
soul
Clark.
left when you stopped doing that.
That's Dick Clark.
That's Dick Clark.
Oh,
I didn't mean to correct you.
That's completely different.
You're getting your dicks confused.
We've all got our dicks twisted around.
About every morning it happens.
Oh, okay.
Well,
You guys, what I like about you too is that like I can tell just like the couple times that I've met you and talked to you, you guys are really into like you guys look at food and restaurants the same way I do. Like when you guys go in, it's like you're there one to enjoy the place first and foremost, but then two, there's the other Terminator eye that's just kind of sizing everything up, front of the house, back of the house. How are they running this? How are they doing this? Mm-hmm. You know,
I'm all about like friendly competition. Mm-hmm. Like I'm big into sports, and it's like the Michael Jordan complex, right? It's like he always like respected not everyone, but a lot of people he played against. But it was always like, what do I do better than that person? Or like, you know, like just it kind of like I'll see something in a restaurant that we might actually be doing, and then seeing it in another atmosphere, you're like, ooh, maybe we shouldn't do that. Or like my thing is like nicks and walls and stuff like that. And now, you know, like it's like I go into one of ours and everything starts poking out at you, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know, it's just like friendly competition and like, you know, like we want everyone to do well, but we also like, you know, want to step our game up along with the people who are stepping theirs up, you know? Mm-hmm.
How big is because you guys are like what are like mainly work out of the Fountain Square one? Or how does that work? Is that your home hub?
I'm headquarters out of Fountain Square.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Yeah.
Me, I'm like in my car, like traveling. Like, you know, like even if it's a small or big restaurant, it needs focus.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have general managers that do a really good job. Like Haley over at Fountain Square right now. I mean, she's never general manager before. Now she's running it like a juggernaut. Like she's like all the way in, focused. You know, like I mean. Every time someone talks about that location, you know, it's because the people who make it, right? And she's one of those people. Mm. And the staff there, they're really good, you know. And then we have our two north side ones, you know. And,
when it's big, too. Fountain Square is like a big... It has to be one of the bigger ones, right? Like
I mean, it has a lot of management and a lot of people who really care about it, take care of it, and that's why it does well.
You gave me a tour of the kitchen. I was like, that kitchen is huge.
Yeah, and there's a commissary out of that kitchen. So the commissary makes food for the entire company, you know. And then the two north side spots are, you know, like College Avenue has its own, like every store has its own background, you know.
Yeah.
College Avenue is more kind of like bar, a lot of drinking going on there. But the food's still good, the atmosphere, the people run it, you know. I spend a little bit more time in there. It's by my house. And it doesn't have as much management, so just kind of being there a little extra. And then the Carmel location, there's Damon Lewis up there. He's going to be our new GM at the new spot, but right now he's kind of holding down that anchor and just kind of like, we have some really good people who just like work hard, want to do a good job, are experts, and want to be professionals, you know, like they're like, everyone's trying to make a name for themselves. So
are they all in Indiana?
Yeah.
Is that part of like the idea is to stay all in Indiana, or is there any plans to branch out?
That's a good question.
I think right now, like, you know, like
focus on Indiana.
We were talking about earlier at brunch. It's like there's a lot of places that will just shotgun places.
Yeah,
like just open them up, and they won't be very good, right? And our thing too is like if we're gonna open a place up, we want to make sure that it's like good. And if we just go off and just start opening up, well, let's just open up 10 in 1 year.
Yeah.
But what if those 10 aren't any good? You know, like it takes a lot of focus and a lot of time and effort to open a place to do it right.
Yeah.
And we just want to make sure like anything that we touch is done the best of our ability, you know? And so like going out to like Ohio or Kentucky or another state would be like, you know, it'd be hard right now, but who knows, you know?
Yeah. Like consistency is the hardest.
Yeah. And
that's our number one.
Yeah.
Like,
but Indiana's like, we're just so like entrenched in the state that it's like,
yeah.
And there's so much more ground we have to cover in the state before we can even.
Yeah.
And plus like moving beer and stuff is hard.
Yeah, and what would that be like? Because I know Omegang, I don't think they have a brewery here, but they're based out of New York. When you do spread, you just keep that heart of Indiana, like, hey, this is Indiana beer, and we're here, or like, what would that look like?
I don't know. That'd be a whole new world.
All right. Well, like, invite me to those meetings.
We sell, I mean, our wholesale is nationally distributed, so we sell beer all over the country.
Right.
And like our CV market, like the Champagne Velvet you got there, they're German Pilsner. So that's a recipe we bought from Terre Haute Brewing Company, and
pre-probation.
But like in big markets like Chicago, New York, LA, Miami, like it's a very popular beer. Like we sell out of like they, like sometimes like we can't even. It's hard to get them all the beer they need on that side and the restaurants with that beer. So it's just like depends on the beer and where you're at in the country. But for Indiana, it's like I think we're just really, really well represented in the state. That moving on to another state right now is not even in the cards yet.
Wasn't CV like the number 2, number 3 beer before Prohibition?
Yeah.
Before
Prohibition.
Yeah. Back in what was that? 40s? I don't know. I can't.
30s.
I feel like an
30s.
idiot, but
20s, 30s.
yeah.
So
Yeah, the Rolling 20s and the Prohibition in the 30s.
So I'm tasting like an illegal beer right now.
Yeah. 1902.
Yeah, there's no Delta 8 in it.
You said there's no Delta
But
8?
it's really
Yeah.
it's what a Pilsner should taste like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's delicious. It's crisp.
It's like
full
my
flavor.
grandpa knows. Like, like when I first started for Upland, and I said, we got Champagne Velvet. He goes, oh man, I remember drinking that when I was a kid. I was like, whoa.
What?
Wow.
But yeah, it's just like such an old recipe. Like it's very familiar in the state.
Oh, this is so cool. I feel like I'm going back to a speakeasy.
Going back in time.
Yeah.
Traveling back before I had rights.
Yeah, well, we're going to make that time traveler movie.
Is it Hot Tub Time Machine?
Yeah.
Great.
but
I just watched that the other day.
could
It's a
be.
good movie.
It's going to be called Black Tub Time Machine,
Oh god.
which stars me and Dyke, and we go back to the 1940s.
In a gin bathtub.
In a gin yeah, you have to get a whole bunch of gin.
What kind?
What type?
What kind of
Oh my
gin?
gosh, my favorite would be I don't know how to say gin names, but I'm going to go for
Tanqueray.
Tanqueray is what I was going to say. I wasn't going to say tangerine.
No, I thought you were.
No one thought I was going to say that, and I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I love Tanqueray.
Tanqueray?
Yeah.
What's yours if we're going to go to
I
gin?
mean, it's been a while, but
Oh, sorry. I didn't. shouldn't
it's
have
all
known.
good. Bombay Sapphire.
Yeah, that's also my favorite.
If I had the money.
I don't like.
college, you
I'm
know.
not a big fan of drinking juniper.
Yeah, me.
I like juniper in certain like brines and foods and stuff,
yeah, I
but
agree.
like,
You know what the key is?
what's that? Sugar. The more sugar content, the less juniper it tastes like.
Straight shots cold with lemonade.
Yeah, sugar. Yeah.
After the fourth or fifth one, you just don't.
No,
you don't even know you're tasting it.
I went to high school too. You just put a bunch of blue Kool-Aid, dump some
hey.
bubbly face in there.
Hey, enough. We're not going to crap on gin today, okay? It's not about that.
No, it was like as when I was drinking underage, it was like a lot of 19, 20-year-old. It was a lot of like Seagrams with Kool-Aid with a bunch of sugar in it, and it was just that was the drink.
Yeah.
And then I remember like when I was like later in my 20s when I just tried to drink gin, I was like, why does this gin taste like Christmas trees? It took me forever to realize. I was like, oh, you don't like the juniper.
Are you guys old enough to remember Purple Passion?
Oh yeah.
What's Purple Passion?
Ooh.
It was like a grape. I think vodka maybe. When it like came in a two. It was
Tell us
great.
about
We
Purple
drank this
Passion.
shit.
It was definitely in the drank category. I don't know if it was a
I don't
liqueur
think
so
they
much
even
as
make
a
it
drink.
You guys like Cameron Dipset? They had like a purple
Drink.
drink like in the
Yeah.
like early 2004, 2005.
It was like vodka and codeine.
It really wasn't. It was just Cameron probably trying to make some liquor money, but it was hilarious. Just
I turned 21 in 2001, and it was right before as energy drinks were coming onto the scene, and
the real energy drinks, the ones that like give you heart attacks.
well, like Red Bull was like new, kind of like in Indianapolis.
Amp.
And I had a friend. I was like, oh, I'm about to turn 21. I was like, what's a good drink to get? And she was like, oh, a good drink to start the night off. We go out to the club. She was like, it's a vodka and Red Bull. And I was like, okay. And then I was living behind like where the sinking ship, that bottle shop.
Yeah.
I was living in Broderpool right by Upland. And I went to I had my friend was 21. He was my roommate. And I was like, hey, get some vodka and Red Bull. I want to try this. And apparently there was a malt liquor that was called Red Bull malt liquor. And so he brought a 40 of Red Bull and a handle of Kamchatka back. And I'm like, all right, like this mad scientist, this drink, apparently it's really good. So everyone's drinking at the club. And it was like just a heavy pour of Kamchatka with just like a splash of malt liquor on top of it, like in a tall tumbler.
Oh, that sounds gross.
Yeah, and I remember drinking it down and just trying not to throw up and just being like, I don't think this is the way you start the club off.
No way.
It's not good.
I thought Mountain Dew was the first energy drink.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically.
Malt
Well,
liquor.
you remember like Jolt?
You know?
Jolt was an energy. Jolt Cola.
Jolt. I remember as a kid,
Jolt,
like they
yeah.
were warning you about Jolt.
Yeah, it was like.
Like, don't you fucking drink Jolt
Dude,
because you'll have a heart attack and
what about
die.
Drugs.
Squirt? Squirt was. I love Squirt.
Well, you had to go to state lines to get Squirt, right?
I don't know.
No, what am I thinking of? Surge. I'm thinking of
Surge. That's what
Yeah,
it
Squirt
was.
doesn't even have caffeine.
I remember my
Grapefruit.
my friends would drive. They would pile into like the back of his AMC Gremlin and drive
That's hilarious.
go on a Surge run.
Surge is illegal now, right?
I don't know if it's illegal.
Oh, shoot.
Hey, let's take a quick break. People are getting attacked.
You're not supposed to say surge. That's a secret word, Cody. Cody will bite you if you say the word. He's near me. I don't want to say it. Hey, we'll be right back.
Hi, and welcome back to the Harder Brunch Podcast. We're talking to Upland Brewery. Andrew, we didn't ask you your origin story.
Origin story.
Yeah, how did you come to be and come to be part of the Upland family?
So I grew up in Granger, Indiana, which is right outside South Bend.
Okay.
So all the way like Michigan border.
Shout out.
Yeah. So I went to a big high school there called Penn. It's like the size of North Central. But so my start in restaurants was there, like washing dishes and bussing tables.
Yeah.
And I think my first like real restaurant job was at an Olive Garden bussing tables. I was the only non-Hispanic, so, but it was great. You know, I learned how to work hard. But then I ended up in Fort Wayne for college, and
Shout out Macedons.
Mastodons, right? IPFW gave them a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I started working in a breakfast place there in the kitchen, and kind of started working just around in like local bars and stuff, like college kid.
Yeah.
Like working the fryer, doing the little stuff, and would always like kind of move up on the line, start being like the guy in the front, you know, doing tickets. I got into serving at an Italian restaurant there. Worked there for about a year. Then moved to bartending at a local dive bar called the Green Frog, and just kind of fell into like the whole picture of it. So I knew back and front of house.
Yeah.
Then I wasn't doing school anymore. I was kind of getting lost in Fort Wayne. So I decided to just move out here to Indianapolis. I had some friends out here, and I started working for the Psalms restaurant group.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
I worked for Eddie and Ed. Taught me a lot. You know, they were like guys that worked all the time.
Oh yeah.
They knew what they were doing. They were driven. They were always coming up with something new, and I was like really attracted to that. So I started working along, you know, like trying to, you know, work at their pace. You know, we still have a good relationship and everything, but just kind of the Upland thing came up, and kind of started as a front of house manager at the Broad Ripple location. And just with COVID and the cards shuffled around, I kind of started taking on more responsibility. There's one point I was like GMing 2 stores and helping a third.
Oh wow.
And then we finally like, you know, I think we were getting past the COVID financially part. So they were like making positions again. And I was able to like, you know, have more of like a regional manager position where I have not where I'm at now, where, you know, I have people underneath me that I manage. But, and that's kind of like, you know, but everywhere I've ever worked has always been like from scratch kitchens. are, real local, or like really like have this like youthful vibe of just like the one thing with restaurants for me was like I've always had this, I feel like, a creative outlook on things.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find anything I was really good at creatively. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't like a stand-up comedian that was super funny, or I wasn't really good as a musician. I was okay at sports. When I got into the restaurants, like I had a purpose, right?
Yeah.
Like when I wash dishes, I could wash the dishes the best.
Or
when I was in the kitchen, I was gonna be the best kitchen guy I could be. Like now it's like different, but like that was like I found myself in the restaurant. I was able to like really learn a lot about myself, and like I think there was a point in my life where it was like, I think everyone in the restaurant industry goes through this, I think, where you're like, am I going to be stuck in a restaurant or do I need to find that office job? And I think I looked at it and said, if I get stuck in the office, because I tried that. I worked in sales and sold cars, and I was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to be around if I have to do this. And the only thing that really made me happy was like working in a restaurant. It was fast paced.
Yeah.
I'm ADHD to the extreme. So it was like perfect for like someone like me where you need to do multiple things. But I was like, I'm actually happy doing this. And once I got over like what other people thought about me working in restaurants, I think we get caught up on that as an industry. Where it's like, they're just going to think I'm some server. But I know some servers that make $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
And they make more money than people who sit in offices.
Well, I think COVID put a light on a lot of that about what actually it entails to work in the service industry.
Yeah.
And also how cush some people's jobs are, where they're just like, I just work from home on my computer,
Exactly. But yeah, I loved it. And I love restaurants, and I love being a part of a company now that's like, we're just being able to like make decisions and be a part of like, not just like some guy telling you what to do, but you get to be a part of that decision. So it's like, that's so important. And I think there's something about, there's a thing that, I've always said about like, well, you can have, work for mom and pop and kind of have a little more creative leeway, but then it's always like you're kind of a victim of whatever crazy ideas they have. Or you can work for a corporate place that's going to be very fair, right? They're going to be very fair. Everything's going to be kind of by the book, but you might not be able to get that like creative, the itch scratch. And it seems like where you guys are at, you both can kind of get the best of both worlds right there.
I do want to speak to the creativity that you were talking about. Like sometimes you have to come up with a whole different menu and get a whole bunch of people behind it, even though they might not want to do something different. And I just wanted you to speak to that of like, how do you push for that, and when is the right time to make a different menu?
That's good. That's the hardest thing, I think. Like we have 6 locations and about to open another one, so we'll have 7. But consistency, it's hard to get. Like I know how to cook. I understand like technique and stuff like that. But like, does Johnny know how to, grill a steak and make it the same way I make it?
Right. And
that's the hardest thing. And Andrew and I have been like working really hard, going to the other locations and working with these guys and make sure that
it is consistent.
They're following. Like cooking has rules,
right?
So like. That's another. We could talk about technique, but like, are they following it? Are they doing the right? Are they sweating their onions? Are they sautéing it correctly and like understanding like the process of it? Yeah. And so it's been challenging because we just launched a new menu a couple weeks ago, and it's been tough. But these guys are getting in. I think they're understanding that, the passion behind it and the craft. So
is this the new menu that we have up here?
That's the brunch menu. Okay. We're actually going to get ready. We're going to work on changing that soon.
Can we click back to the regular menu? Is there anything on here that you? It's God damn it!
Party foul there.
I'll take partial credit for that one.
I mean,
give me a straw. We can try.
No, listen. It is a professional podcast, and then sometimes beers spill for no reason.
I think it's not a party if beer don't spill a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Thank you. I've heard that term, that party rule. But We got.
I spill like my coffee probably 20 times in the morning.
Well, I spilled his.
I
spilled his beer with my headphones. So I turned to look at this and it took out 3 beers. Is there anything here? Oh my! It was so full.
Yeah. And listen, if we do get electrocuted, that's on you. We make everybody sign a waiver. Beers might be spilled into electric currents.
I'll be all right.
What on this menu are you the most proud of, or most excited about?
I'm actually really excited about the new menu we just put out. We launched this. We called this the Harvest menu, and we launched this menu with a couple beers: Juicy Harvest, Paw Paw Sour, and what was the other beer we launched with it? Remember?
Those were the 2.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Because when I came and met you guys like everyone knows the Upland does beer, but what we're really excited about is letting people know like how amazing the food is.
So with this menu, we wanted to highlight our farmers and kind of dedicate the hard work that they do for us. And there's quite a bit of Indiana on this menu that that I'm proud of, and I know that Andrew's proud of, and the company's proud of. But they're all great items. Like I think this is probably our best menu we've put out since COVID.
Yeah,
And,
maybe
You guys put out COVID?
Well,
yeah.
it felt like it. Since COVID, sorry.
Keep drinking that Upland beer.
I know. I've had a few CDs, so I'm.
Like, hey, what do you want to do after putting out COVID? Like, I don't know. I was thinking about pork cakes.
Oh yeah, pork cakes are
That
great.
tomato pie.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great idea.
Well, like initially when we came out with this menu, I came out with the menu and we were working on it, and with the fall being towards the end of summer and going into fall, so you have. It's not just like tomatoes die off, right? Mm-hmm. So you have that like link between fall and summer. So that's why we kind of made this menu with into summer and fall.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
In this correction, Chad does make all the menu. I just the fat guy that tries the food. So just for that.
but that was the whole idea behind it. And like we thought, okay, we'll just run this for 2 months and we'll go into winter with some new items. And so it's kind of like people think, what fall was a couple weeks ago. So like you still have tomatoes, all right? Like my tomato plant's still producing tomatoes. So it's nice. We work with Dave Fisher from Fisher Farms, and we do buy a lot from them from Jasper, Indiana. And they put out an amazing product for us. And
they don't really miss. Fisher Farms doesn't really miss.
I know, like it's
Tell about that. Like we have, we're using the Denver cut that they have right now on our steak and potatoes.
Yeah, so the Denver cut is a unique cut. It's from the chuck area, and it comes from underneath the arm area. It's a real tender cut of meat. It's where the cattle doesn't really move much, and so that meat's really tender and it eats super nice.
Right underneath the sweat gland.
Yeah, right underneath where the armpit. But it's great. Their stuff is primed to high choice, and they take tremendous amount of love in what they do down there. So, and they're a great family, great farmers, and
they're super. I just want to shout out to our future sponsor, Fisher's Farms. Thank you so much.
We hook you guys up.
Yeah, thank you so much for what you guys do.
Yeah.
The new armpit fat pit pork thing. It's beef. So I said the wrong thing. Anyways, I'm messing up the sponsorship as we speak. So
That's why I don't let Thad make the menu.
Korean, natural, local, fresh.
Yeah, we love you guys, and we're glad to have you.
This was when I had my food truck. This was all my burgers were
Seriously?
Fisher Farm burgers. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, so
Dave's a nice guy. So is Diane. Like the whole Joseph, they're all good people.
Yeah, it's also good when you know your farmers.
He's just over here names,
family names, their kids that go to the school 79, and
that's Chad. That's what he does. He goes to different distributors and he meets their entire family.
That's good.
And that's how we get in real good with them. So.
Yeah,
that's smart.
Hang out with
he's
them.
like Uncle Chad over here.
I am like Uncle Chad.
Like, who's that kid with the sunglasses and the black hair? We don't talk about
he
it.
should have graduated by now.
But yeah, that's the thing about Upland now. If you're coming to Upland, you know that we walk the talk. So like, you know what we're going to serve you comes from where we, local. Obviously you can't get everything in Indiana, but we try our best and we do work really hard to like, to set, to get that local farmer into our establishment. So.
No, I love it. I was trying to do a seafood Indiana thing only, and it was
it's impossible.
It was fresh,
basically impossible.
Yeah,
ocean to seafood within like 12 hours, right?
And depending on the flight delays,
you forget about Lake Michigan though. Coho.
Yeah.
Well, we split the difference, and we were just pulling everything out of the White River.
Yeah. You guys like crawdads?
Yeah. Oh man,
White River seafood.
Crawdads aren't bad, especially
go right there to the Broad Ripple Canal, just whatever comes out.
Has anyone ever actually
four-eyed catfish?
Has anyone ever eaten like an Indiana crawdad? Like just pull. Like I used to make them fight when I was a kid, but I've never like just.
Where'd you find this?
It's gotta taste like pond water though.
Yeah, they're never really big, right?
Like,
they're just kind of tiny.
I've never seen one of these.
But that's the thing about people.
Really Indiana crawdads?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They grow they grow in the yards but
they're like
watery.
They're like they're like translucent brown. Like they're not red.
They'll bite you.
Yeah. Like when I was a kid, like I had a creek in the backyard, and we would just like when the water went down, you just pit two against each other and watch them.
We're from the northern part of the state. I don't think we have this.
It's like a Midwestern lobster almost.
Yeah,
in Columbia City though.
In some creeks or creek, depending on where you're from, we had a little bit, and then some people would go crawdad fishing.
I bet you know what? I bet they're not bad. We should maybe start a new trend.
I wonder if they're like protected if you can't eat them or they're just not.
Is the crawdad police gonna come?
That'd suck if that was your only job. Like, what are you?
I know. Hey, I know where there's a fresh batch of crawdads.
Yeah.
I'm about to go pop those guys.
yeah. Think about like the crawdad. Like,
I wonder what he looks like. He shades on.
Definitely has shades.
But like his shirt's all wrinkly because.
Probably costume.
He's a miserable alcoholic.
Yeah. People don't respect what I do, but it's serious.
Yeah. He's always got a flask, because his job doesn't matter that much that he can be drunk.
Yeah. Hey, Diane, who's walking in the backyard? Oh, that's the crawdad protector with his trench coat.
Yeah. Locking people up. What are you in for? I had 14 kilos of crawdads.
Just moving them across state line.
Yeah.
Oh,
crawdad tattoo, like right there.
You want the best uncut crawdad this side of the Mississippi?
That's how we're gonna get on TV right there.
What, crawfish?
Like CSI crawdad.
Crawdad Busters.
I don't
DNR, the DNR special.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone eat creek crawdads.
Well,
they've always been like.
I think I taste like
because he's so good at his job.
People get so
there has to be some. I don't. Can you say homeless people?
You can say whatever you want.
I like to say mansionless people.
I like to call them future millionaires.
Yeah.
Take that, guys.
But they've had to have a crawdad or two out of that Broad Ripple Canal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
the canal kids. You ever seen those guys running around Broad Ripple?
They're not eating crawdads.
They're smoking meth.
They're smoking meth. They might be like, crawdads are crawling all over me right now. Like, that's just the bath salts talking.
But like when he pulled up a picture of crawdads, those were red. Are those more?
This is more of a crick one.
I've never seen this.
The brown ones are the crick ones.
The brown ones, yeah, they're never red.
They gotta taste like.
Ooh,
I don't know. I
don't trust that.
That one looks like it has herpes.
That one, it might STD right there on that one.
And also, you're not getting a good sense of size too. Like, they're really tiny. Like I would say a quarter to half the size of a regular, like when we did like the seafood boil.
When we did the seafood boil, where were our dads from?
Not Indiana. Maybe.
Hey, the bayou. Come on.
Those are from New Orleans. Yeah,
they're from New Orleans.
They're not from a crick.
Yeah,
maybe a New Orleans crick.
Yeah,
that's kind of like alligator. People like alligator. What's so great? I think it tastes like pond water, man. Like
I've never ridden.
I would think that crawfish might from Indiana might taste like
What's pond water taste like? Can you elaborate?
it's like shit.
No, we've all
not
tasted.
good,
It's
man.
dirty water.
It's dirty.
I've drank some pond water in my day, and
Yeah, it's not.
I've drank.
It's not
I've
pleasant.
drank
I
plenty
can tell you
of
that.
crick water in my day.
I've also had alligator too. Let me just say that real quick.
just-
You guys
Yeah,
are making me feel like real bougie right now.
Wait, you're bougie because you haven't tried alligator?
I haven't drank pond water. I haven't tried alligator, or I have never had an Indiana crawfish.
You never barbecued a shoe before? What are you talking about?
That's a good point.
That's good eating.
Barbecue? I've had some barbecue
Tastes
in
like
my
chicken.
day.
No, I've definitely drank creek water. Plenty
Yeah.
We have a
plenty to go
sour
around.
called
How
Creek
thirsty were you?
I mean, like as a kid, I feel like you're just kind of swimming around in it. And
Oh,
like,
that
you
don't
know,
count. I'm talking about like
I've done it for like a bit before.
Yeah.
Like I was a camp counselor, so like,
Oh, that's cool.
so you're doing bits to your.
to the kids, yeah.
I love that.
Well, like one of the like we would do, you would like play a game. There would be punishments, and one was like, I was like, I'll take a drink out of someone's shoe, and so it was all rigged. You know, it was like
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna do it, so whatever. I lost the thing.
Whose shoe?
And then, it was like another counselor. And then like I went down to the creek. They filled it up full of creek water, and I like bonged
That sounds gross.
shoes. Yeah, I mean it's just to make a bunch of
Well-
100 kids go ew. And it's like, yeah, that was gross.
My question is, did anybody get athlete's lung or athlete's throat or anything like
it
that?
did not make me run any faster. I'll tell you that. It was just, but it just tasted like like kind of some dirty water. You know.
And toes. And
Yeah, you know. It tasted about what you would think it would taste like.
if I got athlete's throat from you, I think,
From your toe?
yeah, just drinking shoe water.
That's a situation where I'd never talk to you again.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey,
You know?
me and him don't talk anymore. Like, what happened?
You know, it's
Yeah.
like someone does that to you, you never forgive them.
But actually, be kind of a cool story though.
Yeah.
This was 100%
I got
consensual.
sick.
I mean, I don't have to work anymore.
Yeah, this was consensual. It was my idea.
How would you like explain to your boss that? Hey, I got sick. I drank my buddy's shoe water.
Well, you remember like the early 2000s? There was like there was a lot of like Jackass was very popular.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there
yeah.
was a lot of like I definitely
Dude.
got involved in my fair share of like dumb party tricks. Like my friend hated cheese. Like it made him sick. Like he just like the idea of cheese was
It's
just
like CKY. They
disgusting.
break you on. They would put the mustard on them, and he'd go crazy.
yeah. But he was like that with cheese. So like one time I took some like Kraft like the powdered cheese. And I just laid some out, and I just rolled up a $1 bill, and I did a line of it right in front of him. I just snorted a
hilarious.
line of powdered cheese.
How
And
did
it
it make
was,
you feel?
it made, well, he threw up. So like,
Watching you do it?
he threw up watching me do
Yeah,
it.
mustard.
So like I feel like I got the better end of the deal. But then then you're gacking out like
Yeah, mustard. You never seen that?
Mustard Man?
I skateboarded for like from like 13 to like, I'm still like I can't skateboard as well. I'm kind of bigger now, but like we would just watch these skate videos, and this is one.
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
this is CKY.
This is like where Jackass kind of like morphed from.
But is he like snorting mustard in this video?
No,
Is that what
he hates mustard so much, and they sprayed on him, and he loses his fucking mind.
Oh.
Didn't one
okay.
episode he snort like
15-year-old me is like,
wasabi or
this is
something?
like my heart right here.
This is a young Bam Margera.
It's before the
Yeah.
alcohol.
Yeah, before the everything,
yeah.
Young Bam?
having a fun time, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna hit him with."
Now, is Bam the one that hates mustard?
No, Bam. I don't know. It's his buddy.
Okay. I mean, maybe we should
This
start.
is like some real like suburban Pennsylvania type shit.
Well, we need to do
This
like
guy, he hates the mustard.
our own Jackass.
And this is also like
Have
obviously.
you seen the newest one?
This is no, I have not yet. This is,
Oh my god!
This is
There's
obviously
lots of nut
like
sex.
in the, this is obviously like in the 90s too. So it's just like the idea that this video is gonna reach millions of people. It's like you're not gonna go viral. It's like your friends just dumped mustard on you because they know you fucking hate it.
Okay, there's the mustard. Yeah, okay.
And watch, he just
Oh, he hates mustard, and they just sprayed it on his back. He looks like he's gonna snap.
I mean, if you sprayed anything on me like that, I wouldn't be happy.
I mean, I would. Oh, he goes after the car.
He lightly kicks the car door.
I mean, for the podcast listeners, we're watching someone mad that mustard got sprayed on him, and then instead of taking it out on anybody there that sprayed it on him, he goes and kicks the car door. Not the front car door either. The back driver's back seat. Yeah, I would be mad too, kicking cans.
I don't think he was that angry until he realized it was mustard. At first, he was just like,
I went back for the door.
He's like, hey, y'all, who spit on me? And they're like, that's mustard. What the heck?
Tad, do you have a triggering food that like would cause you
olives
to
for me, man.
kick olives?
Yeah, I picked the olives off that pizza.
I was like, oh shit, we served them olives.
It's all good. But it's just like, I don't know what it is about olives. It's just like, it's the bane of my existence.
Yeah. It's too salty?
I don't even know. I can't even explain it. Maybe it was just something that I built up as a kid. But like, man, like, I just won't eat it if there's olives on it. I'll pick it off. I picked it off. I can pick it off.
So today you picked it off.
Picked it off today.
I feel like that's
because you guys didn't OD at olives. It wasn't like.
Is there any time when you stop liking something as an adult? Like, I feel like it's all built in from childhood, right?
Yeah.
I agree. I think so, yeah.
Like, you're never like in your mid 30s and you're like, I don't like pepperoni anymore, you know? Like,
yeah.
There's some people who are.
Really?
Yeah, but they're not exciting. So
with alcohol, I think.
Well, I don't count alcohol or like if you stop eating meat or something like that. But it's just like to have a thing where it's just like I've loved cucumber my whole life. And
I didn't stop drinking alcohol because I didn't like it.
Right.
Let me be clear.
I've had to drink it 7 years. It was like, it wasn't because I didn't like alcohol. I really liked it a lot. It's because everyone else didn't like me drinking alcohol.
Some would say that was the issue.
Yeah. They're like, we don't like you like this.
I think it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed it. Like my dad, he's 84 now, but he used to eat his steak like mid rare. Mm-hmm. Now it's like I want it mid well. It's like I don't know if that changes through life or what. Do you ever notice like people are like that? Like
my grandpa got very sensitive to any kind of like. By the time like he was into his 90s, but even by his 80s, like you couldn't put pepper on anything. It was too spicy. Yeah, and it was just like ground pepper became too spicy, and it was just like, so your tastes do kind of change like that, or maybe
I
just
read
like
that day.
But
I don't want to be that guy.
I don't.
I think that's definitely in the kind of. I would hopefully that's a later years thing and not like.
I'm gonna force myself for that. Like I just even if I don't like it,
you're not even gonna say anything. Like why is Grandpa crying?
I don't want to be like the loser grandpa.
No, I've definitely.
Since we're talking about grandpas right now,
and to take it to a gross place.
My dad's not. He's a grandpa. But he's my dad though.
I've definitely aged into a thing where sometimes if I eat a couple of jalapenos, I really pay for it the next day. And I'm like, I don't remember being like this in my early 20s. You know, like, I never had to think about the heat of something I was eating.
Yeah, especially on the end part of it, like goes in, goes out. That's hot.
Oh God.
We did one
of them's my favorite part.
We did a bit on the After Brunch podcast where it's like somebody brought in these like hot chips one time, and it was like as a punishment kind of thing.
Oh, like the one chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
So we did that, and it was like
I don't want any of that.
It was 45 minutes.
I want to be in a room with someone else that does it.
It was 45 minutes for me of just like torture, and then like drinking milk and just like I'm not enjoying this time, and then after it. Then the next day I had another 45 minutes of torture. Oh. And I was just like, I don't ever want to do this again. Like, it's just not fun. It's no longer. But is there any regular foods like that for you that you're just like, I can't, nope, not touching it?
I think not really. Like, I think I get mad when people steal my food.
Yeah.
You know, like I like, you know, I not really. I enjoy everything. Ever since I was a kid, like there's nothing like.
Are we talking about family members or people off the street?
Both.
Okay, yeah.
I think there's something because it's like, I mean, for me at least, in culinary school, it's like you don't have to like caviar, but you have to be able to tell good caviar from bad caviar, and it was kind of like that with everything. It's like this doesn't have to be your favorite thing, but you have to have a palate to recognize if it's good, bad, undercooked, overcooked, whatever it is. And there wasn't very much. I didn't sample in culinary school. I remember there was a few vegan people, and I was just like, I don't even know how you can do this. Then
Yeah.
And then I remember there was a
Shout out though, we did get.
I think with caviar, it's more of a texture.
Best vegan
thing with
restaurant
some people.
2022.
Wait, 2020 this
We were
year?
best in Indianapolis this year. So.
What? What are you
For vegan
bragging about?
restaurant. For vegan, we have a good vegan.
Yeah.
side,
Oh.
so.
Take that.
Vegans.
I listened to your experience with vegan
So you
rally.
already know my vegan.
I
went-
feel you, man. If someone told me they were willing to die for a cause like veganism, I'm like,
Yeah. I do owe the vegans an apology. I did kind of go a little bit too hard on some of the vegans. That
Vegan
last
privilege,
episode.
man.
Vegan privilege. I did just do a dog show, and I opened up with how I thought raising money for dogs during this time was bad, and it was. I thought they would take it as a joke, but a lot of people had their mouths open and like.
They were surprised the stand-up comedian made a.
Yeah, I was like, let's go against the room a little bit, and they were covering the dog's ears. Like, they don't speak English. They can't. But anyways, yeah. So vegans, do what you do. That's my apology.
Yeah.
That's all you're getting. But nice job, congratulations.
I like how you like tanked your own charity show. I was like, this charity is bullshit. I want everyone to know that.
I'm too Haitian to raise money for dogs.
Zach, can you drop a beat for me there, Zach? Gentlemen, thank you guys so much for being on the program today.
Hey, thanks for having us. It was fun.
Where can people find you and follow you on social media? You don't have to give your personal. You can give your business account, however you guys want to do that.
Well, if you guys want to check out menus, beer, all that stuff, different locations, uplandbeer.com. Social media, all the stores have their own platforms. So just put in your search bar Upland and whatever location you're looking for.
Nice.
And for me, just Andrew Priller at Instagram.
I don't think I should say mine. People might stop me or something.
Okay.
But I want to say, hey, thanks for having us here. You guys are awesome.
Thank
Love
you.
you guys. You guys got a good thing going here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You guys are
Heart
great.
goes out. Thanks.
Real quick, do you guys have anything? I definitely want you guys to talk about the brunch real quick at the end, and then if you have any big like events coming up that you guys want to plug.
Yeah, so every Sunday we have Michael Graves, DJ Dickie Fox. He does our brunch every Sunday
That's awesome.
over at the Fountain Square location. So come check him out. I mean, he kills it. So he does. If you like me, I'm into music and all that. He does like golden era hip hop to like tribal stuff. Like he does a good mix, man. So he just and he has his friends come around too, and he has some pretty famous DJs once in a while show up. So it's a good time.
I love that.
And then also we're opening a new location. So anyone up on the north side near the mall in Castleton.
Nice.
The old McKenzie River. So it's going to be Upland on 82nd Street. We're shooting for mid-November. So
Yeah. And you were
soft opening. You guys are invited. Everyone
Awesome.
in this room.
Yeah.
So make sure I'll get a hold of you guys when I start sending out invitations. And
Absolutely, thank you.
even if you guys want a podcast out there.
And
or
you
something.
said that you guys would be serving Crawdad Creek sliders.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, actually, that's
Indiana
That's the first-
grown.
We're
actually
gonna
when we leave
sous
here,
vide
he's
them,
going to
actually.
go to
I'm
the test
gonna sous vide
kitchen.
them.
That's what he's doing. So
We'll sous vide them and barbecue them. And
put pizza oven. We'll bring it to your pizza oven. Actually,
Zach Roan.
Yeah.
You can join me in Thad's new podcast, Why We Hate Gin, at Why We Hate Gin Pod.
Daddy's Jake.
And that is a play on words. Gin is also a drink and a name, short for Jennifer.
oh yeah.
So you guys will find out why we don't like Jennifer. Juniper. Actually, follow me at Thad McKee, Twitter and Instagram.
I'm at Dyke Michaels on all social media. Also, make sure to check out our website, harderbrunch.com. You can get some sweet Harder Brunch merch. And stick around for the Patreon episode. Only $3. Patreon.com/Harder Brunch. We're going to be talking to Zane Zadie and Wilcon Cannon. You're not going to want to miss it. Only $3. Sign up right now. Right now. Stop what you're doing. Sign up. Right now.
Yeah.
And then we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.